Dear students, today I am going to discuss about dating of fossils. So you have studied different types of fossils, what is fossilization and all this. But how to decide the age of the fossil? So study of fossil forms an important source in the construction of evolutionary tree. So you have studied last year how cladogram can be constructed and all this. Based on this, you know that insects diversified about 290 million years ago. Human and chimpanzee lineage diverged only 5 million years ago. So we were in a common stem just 5 million years ago. So it is diverged at about 5 million years ago. So all this, how we can decide. So this is what you can see, how these dates of long past evolutionary events can be done. So dating of fossils means methods used to date fossils in geological time called dating of fossils. Geologists and biologists use following methods of fossil dating. So these are the methods. One is stratigraphy. So this is a relative dating method, not the exact dating method or absolute dating method. Then it is widely used is the radiometric method, and very recent is the non-radiometric method. Both these are absolute dating. It is giving precisely the which period, which how exactly what is the time that fossil existed. So dating of fossils relative to their position in layers of rocks or strata. So it is seeing the which strata these fossils recovered. Based on that, we are going to decide the date or the age of that fossil, or else in which period the fossil organism lived. So this is what you can see, the stratigraphy. The method of estimating the age and date of fossils by identifying the rock strata in which fossil recovered, called stratigraphy. Study of the order of events in sedimentary rocks. You can see these are the basal rock. These are older rocks. So old fossils of Paleozoic era. So all these in the older. Recent fossils, these are younger strata. So the mammalian fossils, and so all these in the upper strata. So you will see in this animation how the strata going to form one after the other in this. So along with this, you can see the fossilization. So based on this is the oldest fossil, and these are the in this recent fossils you can see. So these sedimentary rock layers deposited horizontally over time. This is what you have seen in this animation. New layers are found on top of the old layers. By studying and comparing the strata, one can find out what order they were deposited in. So fossils found in the lower strata were generally deposited earlier, and they are older. Those are in the upper strata. They are the recent fossils. Sedimentary rock layers deposited horizontally over time, you have seen in this. New layers are found on the top. So that is why recent fossils you will see in this. So this method is called relative dating. It is not giving the exact dating. So relatively we are just seeing the different strata, and we are in which this, if the fossil is in this strata, so this may be in this period, we will decide. So this is it's a relative dating. Fossils also give scientists important clues to the age of the rock. In this, the strata will give the age of the fossils. Similarly, some fossils, they are called index fossils. They are helpful to decide the age of this rock or rock layers or the sedimentary rock. Sometimes this geological process interrupt this is not a vertical. Here you will find a vertical pattern. You will find rock layer. So sometimes it may be upside down. You will see here how to decide. That's why this is a relative. So it is not exact one. So it may be helpful in some regions where you can see the horizontal strata like this. So this is in the Ladakh region. So the strata is upside down because of geological action. So it is hence this method estimating the age or date of fossil by identifying the rock strata or stratigraphy is relative dating method, not useful to estimate the numerical dating, exact dating, how many million years ago, not like that. It is only relative in this period, like that we can able to say. So what about the index fossils? So index fossils are the fossils characteristic of particular period in geological time with a precise distribution within the rock record known as zone fossils or index fossils. For example, so these are the trilobites. It's a such a the diverse group. It consisted about 4,000 species. It is a distant relative of modern scorpions. So trilobites are extinct at the end of the Paleozoic era. So the rocks those are having these trilobites, we can decide immediately they are the Paleozoic era rocks. Similarly, ammonites, they are abundant during Mesozoic era. By looking into this ammonite, we can decide this is formed during Mesozoic era. So this is how the fossils, some fossils will helpful. They are in abundant in a precise period, and later you won't see those. So that by the looking into these fossils, one can able to decide in which the period that rock has been formed. Index fossils are used by both geologists and paleontologists to study the rocks and the species of the past. They help to give relative age of the rock layers and other fossils found on this same layer. By this, if some other fossils recovered in that same strata, we can say in this period. So that's why stratigraphy is we can say older to younger. It's a relative dating. So we need a more precise dating. So then we have to go for numerical dating method. These are the different strata. You can see how exactly in the sediments the fossils and we can able to calculate the age of the fossil. So that is the numerical dating or else absolute dating methods. It is giving the specific age of the fossils by looking into the chemical properties of this fossil or the rock surrounding this fossil. So there are two types of numerical dating methods, radiometric and non-radiometric method. So radiometric method involves radioactive isotope, the decay of the radioactive isotope. Then non-radiometric method, it is the molecular dating or molecular clock it is. So radiometric dating. So method of fossil dating involves estimation of the date of radioisotope of the rocks where fossils recovered. Geologists use radiometric dating to estimate how long ago rocks formed and the age of the fossils contained within those rocks. So this is that you have studied in chemistry. So radioactive decay, half-life of the element, all this. So the radioactive elements in the rock, they decay by giving off the energy and turning into a different, more stable element. So the uranium undergo radioactive decay and it gives rise to the more stable the form is the lead. So it is that's how radioactive decay takes place at a constant rate. So half-life, the symbol T half is the time required for a quantity of an element to reduce into half to its initial value, or the half the quantity of the element to change over the time by radioactive decay. So by measuring the quantity of the unstable atoms left in the rock, one can able to say what is the age of that rock, and we can also determine the fossils recovered from that rock. So this is how the dating of fossils can be done. So in this there are 4 types of radiometric method. So uranium lead method, then potassium argon method, rubidium strontium method, and carbon dating method. The radiometric method, the uranium lead. So radioactive uranium decay constantly over time by estimating. So U-235, it is under radioactive decay, it will become a stable form, lead 207. So this is initially the rock. When the rock is formed, you can see the uranium, the amount of the uranium or the quantity of the uranium. After certain years, you can see the half of this rock is replaced by the lead. So by calculating the amount of the uranium in this rock, we can able to say the age of this rock. So this is what is the half life. So half life of the uranium to convert into lead is the 7-10 million years. So by 7-10 million years, so that the uranium reduced to half the amount in this rock. So this is very useful to estimate the fossils about it is the 10 million years back to 4.5 billion years back. So this is the layers of zircon. It is a element or a mineral. So that zircon layer where you can see lot of uranium is deposits are there. By just seeing the ratio of lead versus uranium in that rock, in the zircon layer, so one can able to determine the age of that rock. So whatever the zircon layer rock, we can just estimate the amount of the uranium and the amount of the lead that will give. So because in the it will be get reduced into half by 7-10 million years, further half by adding another 7-10 million years. Likewise, we can able to the date the rock and also the fossils found on the rock. Similar method is the potassium argon method, because this is a common method used, because so this method, uranium is a rare element, whereas the potassium is the common one. So you will find in the volcanic rocks useful to measure the dates of the Paleozoic era and Mesozoic era fossils. You can see what is the half life. It is 1.3 billion years. So 1.3 billion years, the amount of the potassium will be converted into the argon element. So the potassium content in the fossils are more when compared to the uranium. Hence this method will be very useful to accurate method, and radiometric dating used to date the dinosaur fossils. So this is a dinosaur's fossil bones. So this can be dating can be done with the help of this method. So the Jurassic period, Cretaceous rock, the fossils of the dinosaurs can be measured by this method. Similarly, to determine the age of the rock surrounding the fossils, so by that we can able to determine the age of the fossil. So this is the potassium argon method. Similarly, rubidium strontium method. So rubidium to convert into the strontium, so it takes about the half life is 47 billion years. So it is in the deeper layers, the mica layer you will find. So only we cannot expect any fossil there in that depth. So in that period, so only we can able to determine the age of the rock by this method, rubidium strontium method. So next very popular to measure the dating of the recent fossil is the one carbon dating method. So the carbon you will find, so the both all organisms, whether it is animals, plants or the bacteria, all they absorb carbon from the atmosphere. So this carbon incorporated into the body mass. So then you can see when the organism dies, or the animal for example, so the 100% carbon C14. So after, you can see the half life of the C14 is 5730 years. After 5730 years, so you can see the usually the hard part will be fossilized easily. For example, the teeth of the animal. So here, So that this teeth of the animal, if you calculate the amount of the carbon, will be reduced into half, then you can see it is just 5730 years old. If it is reduced into 1/4, then we can say it is 11,490 years. So likewise you can see we can able to by seeing the C14 content, we can able to estimate the age of that fossil. So these fossils in the limestone strata, recent fossils, geologists and archaeologists is date the fossils of prehistoric humans and other mammals using this C14 method. It is called carbon 14 method of dating or carbon 14 radiometric dating. So one of the most widely used absolute dating method is the carbon 14 radiometric dating, which used to date the organic remains. This is the effective limit. We can able to effectively we can date back 60,000 years old fossils, not more than the older fossils cannot be estimated exactly. So that's why it is a radiometric method can be used for recent fossils. So this is about radiometric method. Let us see non-radiometric method. So non-radiometric method dating, dendrochronology, lichenometry, and the recent more popular is the molecular clock. So dendrochronology, that is in the seeing the tree ring dating, is the scientific method dating the tree rings to the exact year they were formed. So dating them can give the data of the dendroclimatology, the study of the climate and atmospheric conditions during different period in the history from the tree rings. So similarly the fossilized tree rings also give the idea of the dating when that period of the particular rings are formed and all. This is called dendrochronology. Then another one is lichenometry. So this method also in archaeology, in paleontology, is geomorphic method of or else geochronological dating that uses lichen growth to determine the age of the rock over time. So this is the withering action, the assessing the withering action. So this is an indirect method, most useful measure the effects of climate change on the lichen growth over long periods. So this is called lichenometry. So now the molecular clock, that is the recent molecular clock method used to estimate the divergence of two species from the common stem. So when exactly the humans and chimpanzee, they are diverted exactly in which period. So we can use now molecular clock. This includes to calculate the rate at which the stretch of the DNA changes. So the DNA changes, there is a constant changes in the DNA over the period. So that we can able to find out or identify. So then we can able to see when exactly they get diverted from this common stem. So this involves isolation of DNA from the fossil material and analyzing the sequence of the DNA. You know the DNA, the structure of the DNA, the basis of the DNA, all this. So this so the mutation rate of the biomolecules of the fossils used to assess the time when two or more forms diverged. Here you can see the sequence. So this is the sequence, you know the sequence on the DNA, you know the basis on the DNA, ATCG basis. So what is the substitution mutation rate? It is the one substitution per 20 nucleotides in 1 million years. So it will take 1 million years in this rate. So this you can able to see the mutation rates in the different fossils, and you can able to estimate when exactly they get diverted, whether it is a 1 million year old, 2 million year old, or else like that. You can see, you can able to estimate, you can able to the time of the divergence. So the mutation rate of biomolecules of the fossils used to assess the time when the two or more forms diverged. Using molecular clock to estimate the divergence dates depends on other methods of dating. First we have to assess with the radiometry, then we can go for this. To precisely we can find out in which period they get diverted. First we have to find out the initial dates of these fossils. In order to calculate the rate at which the stretch of DNA excuse me, biologists must use dates estimated. So by this we can club both this relative and absolute dating. So molecular clocks have the potential to shed light on the timing, early metazoan divergence. So when exactly, so millipede, centipede diverted, spider, horseshoe crab diverted, mosquito, fruit fly diverted. So all this we can able to calculate. Similarly, modern humans and the date of the human and chimpanzee divergence. All these we can able to date, or we can able to assess the date of the fossils from these methods. Thank you.